Hello everybody, welcome back to another video in the series where I spit out all the monster stat blocks so you don't have to read through them. Even though I don't really have timestamps for any specific abilities of the monsters, and but anyway, we'll be covering the Intellect Devourer. This is an infamous. Now, I'd imagine that if you've seen me on Reddit, Melon underscore Lord 123, with the M and L and Melon and Lord respectively, even capitalized, you probably get the gist of it. You know that Intellect Devourers are overpowered, but I've never even encountered one, and I know that these things are not even a single one of these things is a killer. And it's only challenge rating 2. Intellect Devour. Its little description smaller than a party's likelihood of actually surviving a pack of these, and especially at a level where this would be considered a hard, medium, or even easy encounter. But anyway, an Intellect Devourer resembles a walking brain protected by a crusty covering and on bestial clawed legs. This foul aberration feeds on the intelligence of sentient creatures, taking over a victim's body on behalf of its mind flayer masters. Of course, the mind flayers always have something of brains, and they're led by a big old brain. Some of them turn to liches to get that big brain. They turn beholders into telepathic beacons. Sometimes their tadpoles turn into giant monster. Or they have s'more oozes, and this thing. Actually, the Obelix actually was in Modrican's Tome of Foes. So, look, let's just ill-fed creatures. Mind flayers breed Intellect Devourers to serve as roaming hunters of the Underdark, creating an Devourer by taking the brain of a thrall and subjecting it to a horrible ritual. As it sprouts legs, the brain becomes an intelligent predator as twisted and evil as its masters. Deadly Puppet Masters. An Intellect Devourer consumes a creature's mind and memories, then turns the host body into a puppet under its control. An Intellect Devourer typically uses his puppet host to lure others into the domain of the mind flayers to be enthralled or consumed. Don't cry. We have no intention of eating your brain. In fact, your brain is going on a wonderful journey. Corby Al Slurk, Mind Flayer. It's a tiny, lawful evil aberration, and Mind Flayers are also lawful evil Obelixes. I think Mind Witnesses are, Elder Blains, with Chillfids, etc., etc., etc. Now, at first, it actually seems pretty manageable. Armor class is 12, hit points are mere 21, 64 plus 6, which, being honest, it's at first glance, it seems like even a Fog, which, by the way, is a monster with a challenge rating 1/2 monster, by the way, could easily take this guy on until we start looking at First of all, it has a speed of 40 feet. Now, the average is 30, and look, even this Hydra on the other page has a speed of 30 feet, and it's a huge Hydra, like 15 by 15 foot Hydra, and God knows how tall. Definitely variable, because we're not talking about Hydras, we're talking about this little bugger. His strength is 6, dexterity is 14, okay, not bad. Constitution 13, not bad. Intelligence is 12, okay, smarter than most players, but still not too. Wisdom 11, charisma 10. Okay, so its stats seem don't seem to be a +2, a couple +1s, and even a -2 in strength of all. Okay, skills. Perception +2, stealth +4. Damage resistance is bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing for non-magical attacks. Okay, this is where it kind of gets scary. But okay, fine. It doesn't have any damage immunities, and besides, you can always just use like fire or something. I mean, and magical attacks. I'm giving each of my players a +1 weapon, so those are magical attacks. You need to be blinded because you have 60-foot line beyond this radius, so you can actually run if you get a bit of a head start, and it's kind of an open air. Passive perception 12. Images understands deep speech but can't speak. Telepathy 60 feet. Challenge 2, as I already said. Detect sentience. The Intellect Devourer can sense the presence and location of any creature within 50 feet, 100 feet of it. It has an intelligence of 3 or higher, regardless of imposing barriers, unless the creature is presented by a mind blank spell. Okay, keep in mind, what level's a mind blank spell? Oh, a mind blank spell. Keep in mind that you're probably going to be getting packs of these in the first tier, mind you. Oh, the mind blank spell is... Oh, an 8th level spell. 8th level spell. Why would I? And there's no easy way to get more 8th level spell slots unless your DM has some sort of weird house rules. So basically, it can only protect one character, presumably the caster. It's okay. It doesn't. So it goes from, oh, this actually seems pretty easy to run or hide from, to, oh wait, it's good effing luck getting away from this thing. You can't hide. Okay, actions. The Intellect Devourer makes one attack of its claws and uses Devour Intellect. Its claw attack, which is Fangful, which is the tamest part, does mere 2d4 + 2 damage. So... okay, so not a lot of damage, but okay, so definitely not a lot of damage. Then we get to these two attacks. These two attacks are gonna go make this already stalking creature into outright TPK territory. Devour Intellect. The Intellect Devourer targets one creature you can see within 10 feet of it that has a brain. The target must succeed on a DC 12 intelligence saving throw against the magic or take 2d10 psychic damage. Keeping now a DC 12 intelligence save again doesn't sound so bad until, after all, 2d is only an indicator. It's definitely this dangerous trap territory, but he also gets to, it's not like a recharge ability. He can do this every single round. And he also target must succeed on a DC 12 intelligence. So on a failure, roll 3d6. If the total equals or exceeds the target's intelligence score, the score is 0 to 0. The target is stunned or regains at least 1 point of intelligence, but never specifies how they're supposed to do it. So are they supposed to use healing? Can it just be shrugged off by a short or long rest? Can it even be, or is there no way to do it? And it's lemonified forever. Well, guess what? Assuming the DM isn't a... Now, these two abilities are alone and decently powerful. If you want your players to not hate you, you don't want to kill all of their characters, you do not use its third action. Do not, under any circumstances, unless you want your party to die. If you use this, then you want your party to die. Capiche? Capiche. Body feat. The Intellect Devourer initiates an intelligence test with an incapacitated humanoid within 5 feet of it that isn't protected by protection from good or evil. It's a... Keep in mind... So, it doesn't say... Let's just say that... Oh, yeah! And if this is... Although it's meant to be used on one that had its intellect devoured, which would be... really work on literally any... Work on any creature... On any creature with basically... With like... I imagine like 60... Like 2/3 of all the status effects in the game... Like 2/3 of all the status effects in this game give you the incapacitedness and stuff. Okay, if it wins the contest, the Intellect Devourer magically consumes a target's brain, teleports into their skull, and takes control of their body. While there, the Intellect Devourer has total cover against attacks and other effects originating outside its host. Keep in mind that you want to know the reason the barbarian's always the one stereotyped as being illiterate and stupid and stuff. Well, if it congratulations, now it's basically quintupled now it's basically given itself a shit ton of a temporary hit points and if you have. And the only way you can get to it is if you attack your friends. The Intellect Devourer retains its intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, as well as its understanding of species, telepathy, and its traits. Otherwise, it adopts the target's statistics and knows everything the creature knows, including spells and languages. Yeah, if this thing gets into the brain of a 9th level cleric, then the entire party is totally fucked. Totally. What? Let's say he decides to leave. If the host body dies, the Intellect Devourer must leave it. A protection from good and evil spell cast on the body drives the Intellect Devourer out. The Intellect Devourer is also forced out if the target regains its devoured brain by means of a wish. Yeah, a wish, as in the most powerful spell in the game. It literally says it's the most powerful spell in the game in its description. Even the other 9th level spells, from raining down meteors to giving yourself literal invincibility for 10 minutes to time stop. You know what? Time stop's actually a really bad spell. Seriously, who decided to make it a 9th level spell? Ending 5 units movement, the Intellect Devourer can voluntarily leave the body, teleporting to the nearest occupied space within 5 feet of it. The body then dies unless the brain is restored within 1 round. Imagine brain restorative spells are so expensive that would literally just be cheaper to cast Revivify on them. This is way longer than any of the other videos. It's gonna be all the time we have for today. I really need to get to class now. Bye.